right now the moon is full, so it's at its full manifestations. It's full bloom. And we like to work with the moon a lot because it teaches us a lot about rhythm and cycle. New moon, always a chance to be manifesting, to be really clear about what do you want? What are you doing? Why did you get up this morning? And where are you going? Because if you don't know those two things, you'll get lost in the sauce really quickly, and basically you'll be unhappy. So the moon is just such a great reminder to us of the cycles that we are always going through. And when we learn to ride the rhythms of nature, we just have more energy to get through whatever it is we're doing. That's all that it is. When we first came to this earth, we were very connected to the universe because we were living in nature, and there's no way that you can live through a storm and not figure out something about how to live through the storm a little better next time. So it means that we're intimate with nature, and when we're intimate with nature, it automatically takes us to an understanding, a personal understanding of the divine or God, however you define it. You start to relate to that, and you begin to feel that it's very, very real. And with that relationship, we get to also this place we call Ishvara Pranayadana, where we learn to surrender to that. And, you know, when I work a lot, and I do work a lot with artists, and they get into this block, this mental place where they feel like they can't produce that thing anymore, it's because they're not doing that. It's because they're not surrendering to the Ishvara, to the name of their God. They're not letting that force move through them. So Ishvara Pranayadana, when we start to relax and invite that flow through us, we see how it has its own expression, its own divinity that has something to do with you, but not really. You know, if you can really understand that fear, Gandhi even says that. He says, we think that hate is the enemy, but fear is the enemy. Fear is the enemy. If you can just not let that fear block you from what you love, that's what it's doing. Your fear is blocking you from what you love to do. And if you can start to move the fear over to the side, I recognize you. Fear is good. I've learned to become friends with fear. I was not most of my life. But I use fear as a marker that I'm onto something new. And when you're going to create something, you're going into some new place that you've not gone into before. So you have to be hand in hand with the fear. You have to recognize that it's there. It's just a marker that you're starting into some new place. And a huge part of being creative, a huge way that we get creative, is when things break down, when we hit that crisis. That's when you really need the energy to start to figure out, how am I getting out of this? This did not work out the way I planned. Now what am I going to do about that? And that's when it gets really, really beautiful. And the more you can surrender at that point, still stay active. Your job always is to show up. You show up, you do your part, and then you let the universe come to you with that intention, with that place and that commitment. That's really what it takes, is commitment. That's what we're going after when we are creative, is just being committed. Don't worry about what's going to happen when you give it to the world. That will screw you up. That will hold you back big time. It's all on loan anyway. It's just coming through you. So just give it right back, and the more you give, the more you're going to be able to receive.